What's up guys, Groovy Guitar Dude here with a beginner guitar tutorial for What They'll Say About Us by FINNEAS. If this video helps you out, hit that like and subscribe button, and let me know in the comments below what other songs by FINNEAS that you want to learn on guitar. Guys, the first thing that you want to know to play What They'll Say About Us on guitar is that in order to get rid of some bar chords and keep the song as beginner friendly as possible, we're going to capo up to 3rd fret. And if you don't have a capo, I'll link to get this capo for free right up here. The next thing that you want to know to play What They'll Say About Us on guitar is the structure of this song. We're going to start it with a verse, then go to chorus, then verse again, then chorus again, then we're going to have a bridge, and then a short instrumental, and an outro to take us out of the song. And guys, the last thing that you want to know before we dive into What They'll Say About Us is the 5 chords that you need to play this song. The first one is G. The next one is D over F sharp. The next one is E minor. The next one is D. And the last one is C. And I'll have chord charts for all of those in the pinned comment below for those of you who need them. And with all that in mind, guys, let's dive into What They'll Say About Us. Man, this is such a beautiful song. I've been so stoked to get back to some FINNEAS for the longest time, and I thought this was the perfect song to come back with. So, this song is all based on piano. There's hardly any guitar in the whole entire song. So this is another one of those songs that we're going to be trying to match up what's being played on piano and obviously play it on guitar. So with that in mind, the first thing that we hear in the song is what's being played for our verses, and we're actually going to play the same thing for our outro as well. So our chord progression for our verses and our outro is going to be this. We're going to go G, D over F sharp, E minor, and D. And that's just going to repeat over and over again through all of our verses and on that outro to take us out of the song. So for each of these sections of this song, the whole thing, again, we're trying to match up with what's being played on piano. So we're going to have a finger picking pattern for each one of these sections. And it's actually going to be the same pattern. It's just going to be played a different amount of times depending on what part of the song that we're in. So that'll make a little bit more sense in just a second. But before we dive into this picking pattern, I need to make sure you guys know what bass notes are. Bass notes are just the lowest note of whatever chord you're playing, and our picking patterns that we have in this song have bass notes in them. So, just to kind of go over those really quickly and make sure you know them, for our G, D over F sharp, and E minor, those are all going to have a low E bass note. So that means if you see a bass note and we're playing that chord, it's going to be on the low E string. If we're playing a D chord, it's going to be on the D string. And if we're playing a C chord, it's going to be on the A string. That's all the bass notes for all the chords that we're using in this song. That's super important because we're going to be using it through the entire song. So make sure you got a good grasp on that before you go any further. So our picking pattern that we're going to be using for our verses and our outro is going to be bass note and G and B at the same time, 4 times for each chord. And it's pretty quick. But what's cool about this is if this is your first finger picking song, this is actually a great place to start because we are going to use the same picking pattern through the entire song. We're just going to adjust how many times we're playing it for each chord depending on what part of the song that we're on. Again, that'll make some more sense in just a second, but this is a great place to start for finger picking. So what we have here, again, our chord progression for our verses and our outro, G, D over F sharp, E minor, and then D. And again, we're playing bass note, B and G at the same time for each one of those chords. So a little walkthrough of what that whole chord progression with that picking pattern will look like is about like this. This is going to be slowed down, but it'll make sure that you have all the right stuff in all the right places. We'll start with our G, that's our first chord. We're going to go bass note, so low E, G and B. We're going to do that 4 times. Low E, G and B, low E, G and B, low E, G and B. Then we switch to our D over F sharp. Same thing for that one, low E, G and B, low E, G and B, low E, G and B, low E, G and B. Then to our E minor, same exact picking pattern here, low E, G and B, low E, G and B, low E, G and B, low E, G and B. And then we're on to our D, and this is where it changes for this part. We're going to go D, G and B, D, G and B, D, G and B, D, G and B. And that is just going to repeat through all of our verses and again through our outro as well, but obviously quite a bit quicker. So guys, as always with picking patterns like this, I'm going to play through this a couple of times very slowly without me talking so that you can make sure you have all the right stuff in all the right places. And then I'll play through it a couple of times full speed so you can match it up with the speed of the song. So slowly a couple of times through the picking pattern that's going to play through our verses and our outro on what they'll say about us will look about like this. And a couple of times full speed through that chord progression and picking pattern that's going to repeat through all of our verses and our outro on what they'll say about us will look about like this. And from there, guys, we're into what's being played for our choruses and our bridge. This is a very short chord progression with a very similar picking pattern. So let's take a look at this. Our chord progression for our choruses and our bridge is going to be C and D. That's it. And all we're going to do for our picking pattern is we're going to have the same exact picking pattern. So we're going to have bass note, G and B, but we're going to play it 16 times for each of those chords. We're just going to hang out on those chords both for a very long time, or what feels like a very long time. But that's the entire chorus, is just C and D. We're going to do bass note, G and B 16 times for each one of those chords. So let's walk through that. We'll have our C chord here. For that one, we're going to go A, G and B, and we're just going to do that 16 times. I'm not going to repeat that 16 times to show it to you guys, because that would be crazy. But next we're going to go to that D chord, and then for D, same thing here. We got our bass note first, so D, G, and B 16 times. And that is just going to play once through for both of our choruses and for our bridge. So same thing here, guys. I'm going to play through this once very slowly so you can make sure you have all the right stuff in all the right places. And then I'll play through it once full speed so that you can match it up with the speed of the song. So slowly once through the chord progression and the picking pattern that's going to play through all of our choruses and our bridge on what they'll say about us will look about like this. And once all the way through that chorus and bridge chord progression with that chorus and bridge picking pattern, full speed will look about like this. And finally, guys, the only other thing that you need to know to play what they'll say about us on guitar is what we're playing for the instrumental. For the instrumental, we're going to have one chord progression with a little bit of a variation. We'll get to that in just a second. And we're going to have a very similar picking pattern, again, to what we've been playing for the entire rest of the song. So first, let's take a look at this chord progression. Our chord progression for our instrumental is going to be E minor, D, C, and D. We're going to repeat that twice, but you'll notice that there's a star at the very end of that second line. The reason for that is because that very last chord, that last D chord, we're going to play for 2 measures. So we're going to play that last D chord twice as long as all of the other chords. So with that in mind, our picking pattern for each one of those chords is going to be, again, bass note and G and B at the same time, 4 times for each one of those chords. So just like we played in our verse and our outro. But what we're going to do for that last chord, that last D chord there, is we're going to repeat that 8 times, just for that last starred D chord. That's it. Other than that, everything else is going to be just 4 back and forth through that picking pattern. So a little walkthrough of what that's going to look like is about like this. Start with our E minor here. We'll go E, G and B, E, G and B, E, G and B, E, G and B, D chord, D, G and B, D, G and B, D, G and B, D, G and B, C, A, G and B, A, G and B, A, G and B, A, G and B, back to D, D, G and B, D, G and B, D, G and B, D, G and B. Now onto the second line, we're going to wrap back around here, E, G and B, E, G and B, E, G and B, E, G and B, D chord, D, G and B, D, G and B, D, G and B, D, G and B, C, A, G and B, A, G and B, A, G and B, A, G and B. And finally onto that last D chord, which again, we're playing this one for 2 measures. So we're going to play it for 8 times through that picking pattern rather than the 4 that we've used for all the other ones. So D, G and B, 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 D, G and B. And that will take you out of the instrumental and into that outro that will take us out of the song. So again, guys, I'm going to play through this once very slowly so that you can make sure you have all the right stuff in all the right places, and then once all the way through it full speed so that you can match it up with the speed of the song. So slowly once through the instrumental chord progression and picking patterns will look about like this. And guys, finally, once all the way through the chord progression and picking patterns that we're using for our instrumental, full speed will look about like this. And guys, that is everything that you need to know to play What They'll Say About Us on guitar. As always, if you have any questions, you can hit me up in the comments down below. I'm usually pretty quick getting back to those. And again, if this video helped you out, hit that subscribe button. I have about 750 other guitar and ukulele lessons on this channel, and I usually try to post at least 3 to 5 new videos every single week. So if you're learning guitar or ukulele, there cannot be a more perfect channel for you to check out. If you want to see what songs I'm jamming on, where I'm traveling right now, or pictures of my dog, you can hit up my Instagram at @thegroovyguitardude. Link for that will be in the description below. And lastly, guys, if you want to support the channel and get your name in the credits at the end of each new guitar tutorial, you can hit up my Patreon at patreon.com/thegroovyguitardude. Link for that will be in the description below as well. Guys, What They'll Say About Us is one of those just absolutely beautiful, beautiful, beautiful piano songs that translates very well to guitar. And if you've made it this far in the lesson, then you definitely know that and you've definitely heard it. I love translating piano songs or piano-based songs into guitar songs. It's one of my favorite ways to play guitar because it's a little bit unconventional. You got to get a little bit creative too, because you can directly translate the notes that are in each kind of song, but you also got to kind of make your own version of it in a way. And so this is the way that I would play this song if I was playing a guitar cover of it, because it's just a beautiful song. It matches up really, really well with the piano, and I think doing that picking pattern there, it feels a little bit more true to the song than doing just kind of a simple strum pattern. I think it adds a lot, and it's still very beginner friendly because it pretty much repeats the same picking pattern through the whole song. You just change the amount of times you're doing the picking pattern for each chord depending on what part of the song that you're on. So guys, this is such a beautiful song. I had so much fun learning it. I hope you guys have a lot of fun learning it as well, and hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see y'all soon.